Wow, it's almost halfway into 2017. Boy, the time goes by fast. Thank you guys for tuning into today's podcast. My name is Cruz, and I'd like to discuss a topic that kind of revolves around everyone. And at this point, I do almost mean everyone. Technology in the lifestyle. But now my topic is a little bit more specific because I know as an adult, I don't think I can go a day without being on Wi-Fi or on internet access at some point. So if I can't do that, I already know most often children can't now in this day and age. And that was definitely not the case in the 90s when I was a kid. So my point today is, how important is technology in a young adult's or children's lifestyle now? Well, let's talk about it. Alright, I kind of want to do this in a bit of a structure today, and I want to start off with actually my childhood with technology. And in the 90s, I was born in 1993. I'm 24 years old. And it's a huge impact on my life now as an adult. But when I was a kid, there was no such thing as Wi-Fi. I actually don't even know if I had internet in 1993 when I was born. I know definitely my family didn't. We had a big household, and internet was expensive, I'm gonna guess, at that time. So it wasn't introduced into my life until I was about maybe 8 to 10 years old, when we had AOL and you had that irritating whatever noise it was. Believe it or not, that noise was fascinating to me. It also made it very, very much impossible as a child to sneak in on the computer in the middle of the night when I wanted to look up or play a video game or one of those websites that had just those little arcade games, and it made it impossible to sneak out and play that, because in order to connect to the damn internet, when everyone's sleeping, they hear and everyone's like, who the hell is up? So obviously the youths of today will probably have no idea what I'm talking about. That's how old I feel now. I'm 24, I'm at the end of young, so now I'm becoming old. But yeah, when I was a kid, it didn't actually, really have a huge impact. The most I had as far as technology-wise was a Nintendo 64, which was a groundbreaking, leap in technology. Before, video games had existed way before, but it was so much more limited. They had like a console for just one game, where when I had the N64 at like maybe 7 years old, they had a lot of games and varieties. So I thought, wow, this is cool. But internet and computer access and cell phones didn't really happen. And I definitely was not around that. I had no idea what the internet was. All I knew was I wanted to play this video game, and that's it. And as I grew up, more technology became available later, but I still didn't have access to it. So it never played a huge part in my life. I never had a handheld console like a 3DS or some Game Boy Advance or Game Boys until I've never actually owned one. The first handheld I ever bought was this year. So as an adult, whereas some other kids had it at a younger age, but it still wasn't a part of my childhood. I had to go outside, play with rocks or toys and action figures, pretty much distract myself and do something. And I would watch TV, but I was always told, don't watch too much because it's bad for you. You'll go blind, or get up, do something, be active. That was definitely more stressed upon than it is now. Not to say it's less important now, but it was definitely much more of an impact on my childhood than it is now on children of today. So that's where I'm going from. No technology being a huge impact, or not having technology become a huge impact on my life, as opposed to my nieces and nephews who today can't live a day without it. Now, my second point is that my job currently is at You Break I Fix. I'm a repair technician. I repair cell phones and all this other junk that has a power button on it. And I particularly get a lot of iPads. I get other tablets, but iPads are definitely one of the more common repairs I get. And oftentimes it's a screen repair where the glass was shattered and just broken everywhere. So I do these repairs so many times, and I notice one thing consistently. When I do a repair and I have the new screen on, it looks freaking shiny new. Not bragging to myself, but I'm pretty good. I noticed that sometimes when you double tap the home button, I'm trying to be a little nerdy, there's multiple tabs open already. You know, when they broke this iPad, they most likely didn't turn off all the extra applications they had open, so they bring it in to get it fixed, and then when I do it to do some tests on it, I see about 7 out of 10 times there is a game in the background playing. Could have been Angry Birds or some sort of game that's at the Play Store or iPad Apple Store. I don't know that interface, but point is there's always a game on there. That makes me jump to a conclusion that a child was most likely handling this device when it was broken. And that makes me think, man, all these kids keep getting, iPads and all these other cool things I never had as a child. And they're using them and understanding them in probably better ways. So by the time they're a teenager, this stuff is just, they're masters of technology. By the time that they're 13, they have mastered Wi-Fi. They probably have memorized their internet password, made several emails, all this stuff that took me till I was 14 to even do or have. I still don't own an iPad or any sort of tablet. I now love technology, but it took me till 14 till I'm 24 to really, invest into that technology. Whereas it starts now at a much younger age now, from at least, I now can say the age of 2.5 till now, till whatever age they are now. But it starts off at a younger age now, as opposed to when it started off in the teenage years, when it sort of developed. I didn't know at the time if it was a good or bad thing when I started noticing this. But now I'm thinking about it, I don't think it plays such a negative impact anymore. I mean, I understand when I was a kid, too much technology was bad. Go outside, see the world. Don't be shut or stuck in front of a screen, whether it be a small one, definitely in your face like an iPad, or a big one like a TV, just watching shows and being brainless. I don't think it has a negative impact that I was led to believe when I was a child anymore. And I have some examples as to why. I have 2 nephews. Well, I have multiple, but I'm mentioning these 2 particular nephews. We'll just say nephew 1 and nephew 2. Nephew 1 was born first, and he had a trouble time speaking. It doesn't help that he's being taught Spanish and English at the same time, and I really tried to stress English on him, but just leave it at it's taking a long time for him to learn when he was younger. He would struggle with words. Whenever he wanted something, he would just do or cry. And that was very annoying, but I hate this guessing game. I hate that they can't speak, because I've definitely seen kids who were able to speak almost fluently at his age. By 5, he was struggling to speak still. And I had met another child who was speaking almost fluently, and it was really scary. And I noticed the difference was the one who was speaking fluently was using technology, cell phones. He was using his mother's cell phone. He was playing video games, and he was just, he was really smart for a 5-year-old, or at least in the circumstances of my nephew 1, where he wasn't not smart, not saying he's not smart, but like not picking it up as fast as he should. He was being taught the traditional methods, reading some stuff, but it just really wasn't clicking as much. So I decided to sort of introduce him to YouTube and video games, sort of, not so much video games, I didn't have the access to that, but like we had a tablet where he started, connecting to Wi-Fi. I connected it to Wi-Fi, kind of got him YouTube, had him watching funny videos or stuff like that. And I only had time to show him like a couple of times. Like I couldn't just spend all day with him doing this, but he started picking it up on his own. And in fact, his speech started to improve on his own. He started watching YouTubes. He didn't know what letters he was typing, but he was watching videos after videos. He was saying more words. He was speaking, which was a very, very rare thing. He could do so before, but it was broken English, and it was very hard for him. And I noticed he started speaking more. Yeah, it was still a struggle, but with iPads or with tablets and just YouTube, so much content out there, and just listening to these things, watching it, definitely really, really up close in your face, he was taking the knowledge in so much faster than he would have if he'd have done it traditionally. And I was absolutely impressed that such a huge difference was made just by introducing him to technology at a younger age. Now, with my example with nephew 2, he's still younger. I think he might be still maybe 4 now. And he's actually just very shy. He doesn't like to talk out unless he's with other children. But I've noticed a struggle where he also had a bit of a speech problem. But it's not that he didn't know how to do it. It's just he wasn't confident. He's just a very, very shy boy. And with YouTube and his mother getting him an iPad, he would always be on YouTube. And he started to use that interface so much faster than I think my other nephew 1 was. But that was because his mother was showing him more consistently, and he was able to, just learn from her. But he was definitely speaking more. He still makes some noises like, ah, but he definitely understands, what people are saying to him. And, he nods, or, he can do the little baby thing where you tell him something and he no. Just gives you that, no, I don't want to do it. But he understands you. And that's what was blowing my mind. I was like, wow. So here are 2 examples of children who were struggling with language that are suddenly picking it up so much faster just by introducing them to this technology. That was told to me as a young adult that it's just a bad thing. It will rot your brain. Being a child and just having a screen in front of you does you no good. When now, in 2017, I believe that is the exact opposite. Granted, I still think kids need to go outside and, do some sports and be active. But I definitely can see technology being used more to educate children and increasing their intelligence at a much faster rate. It doesn't have as much cons as it does pros. And that's what I think for at least for my 2 examples of my nephews, because it blows my mind. I'm so happy to say that now I can have full conversations with both of them. Like nephew 1, I can have absolute full conversations, and I'm a nerd for DC comics and, other Marvel stuff, like pretty much comic books. And my nephew 1 is telling me the secret identities to Spider-Man, Batman, Robins, and talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. I love the fact that he's talking. I mean, yeah, he's talking a lot. I mean, I can only keep up with him so much, but it blows my mind how a couple years ago he had no knowledge on any of this stuff. Now he is suddenly discovering his passion, things he loves and wants to talk about, like dreams and aspirations. Like he wants to be like Spider-Man, or he wants to be like Flash. He wants to run fast, or he wants to be like a fireman or something like that. It's so warm in my heart seeing that transformation, where a few years ago, like I said, it was pretty much at 0, and now it's almost at a 10 from what I'm seeing. And my nephew too, he didn't start off at a full 0. He's definitely just, going up at a steadier rate. And it's awesome. I'm absolutely blown away by how society in the 90s viewed technology was so wrong. That's what blows me away. It was so wrong. And yes, it can be a double-edged sword where they can over-rely on technology. That's true. But at that point, that's where, I feel adults and other guardians need to sort of make sure they get a little bit of both of reality and technology. So that's a different game altogether, but definitely including technology in a young adult's life at an early age, it benefits them more than it takes away. And to control the difference depends on the one raising them. I see it as a huge tool for success, and that's personally what I hope will improve in the future. Like technology, when 10 years from now, will just will just completely destroy what is technology nowadays, virtual reality and all this stuff. So we'll see how it goes, but I can only see the improvement of technology as a huge tool for the improvement of educating a young adult, and I think it's phenomenal. All right then, well, I think that sums it up for my technology little rant and how I think it's beautiful, but that is still, again, my opinion, and I have real life, examples as to why I have this opinion, because like I said, seeing a young child develop just always brings joy to your heart. So down in the comments down below, please let me know what side you're on. Do you think that children should be introduced to technology at a younger age like I do? Or do you think that they should be still, withheld from the world of Wi-Fi, internet, YouTube, Netflix, and for a couple more years till they're like teenagers, so that they can really appreciate, the huge tool that's given to them. Because to be honest, even if you did decide that they should be introduced to technology later, school and other education systems are almost on my side, and they're introducing them to that way sooner than even you can hide it from them. But still, down in the comments down below, write down which side you're on and why, because I'd be fascinated to know your examples and your reasoning for that. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast today. Again, my name is Cruz, and thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys next time on my next podcast. See you around.